everyone, and welcome to the 57th episode of NiinaNknitting. My name's Niina, and you can find me on Ravelry as Ninima and on Instagram as NiinaNknitting. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk about my knitting, some crochet, and some sewing every once in a while. You can leave me some comments in the comment sections below the YouTube video, or there's a link in the description box to my Ravelry group where you'll find the episode thread with show notes. And I have thought about maybe putting the show notes in the description box. I know it will be easier for a lot of people, but that would mean that I'd have to set my projects as public on Ravelry, and I don't think it's set as a default in there, and it's not very likely that I remember to do that every time. Maybe I'll try it, maybe I won't. That remains to be seen. The videos that you saw in the beginning of this episode show you how weather changes from one day to another and how sort of spring progresses in Finland. The first video clip, they're from the same spot on 2 consecutive days. So the first one, you saw that the lake was still on ice. I even took a rock of like this size and I threw it on the ice, and it made a dent, but it didn't go through the ice. So there was still that much ice on the first day. And then the second video that you saw is from the same place on the next day. And as you can see, the ice has just melted away, it vanished. So it's pretty crazy. We're expecting a little more snow, possibly, on like next week or so, but we'll see. So it's spring. It's still spring, and it keeps us on our toes in one way or another. Today is Friday, the 8th of May. And if you can hear some ruffling noises, that's my dog who's just next to me doing some woodwork. Yeah, okay. What do I have for you today? I have 3 finished objects. I have 3 pairs of socks, and then I have 2 whips. Oh yeah, and a sewing project. I almost forgot. The sewing project I talked about last time, but I didn't have a video to show it. This time I have the video, but I have 3 pairs of socks, 1 sewing project, and then I have 2 whips, works in progress, which are both knitting. They're both something that you've seen already if you have been watching this channel. But one of them is a recent one. It's made some progress, but not a whole lot. It's not finished, but I'll talk about it at the sort of second half of the episode. And the other one is a whip from last year. It's been resting for almost a year, I think. But yeah, I dug it up from my stash, and it's made some progress, and you'll see it on the second half of this episode. Yeah, but the first finished object, the pair of socks, is something I have on video. My first finished object is this beautiful pair of socks. The pattern is called Liesel by Sarah Gerst Steinman, or Sarah Gerst Steinman. This was a warm-up pattern for this year's Sock Madness. I showed them to you last time. This is where I was. I was knitting them 2 at a time. It's a caftan sock. I was doing them 2 at a time. And this is where I was last time. So I was almost finished, but not quite. I finished the foot and then did the toe, which is just a regular wedge toe. And you also had a regular heel flap and gusset, French heel turn. Trying to get rid of this. Yes. So French heel turn. It's just not a slip stitch heel flap. Really, really pretty. I used some Fruba Valbori yarn, merino swirl, which is 80% merino superwash, 20% nylon, and the colorway is called Hepburn. It is really, really pretty. And I made these for my niece, and now I can get them in the mail for her. Finnish mail is still up and running as well as can be expected, I think. I used 85 grams of the yarn for these socks, and I really, really like them. Let's see if I can get the color difference to show. I'm not sure. This one is lighter than this. I talked about it last time. It's a hand-dyed yarn, so that's normal that you have some differences in the color. This part of the skein was more speckled, and the undertone I feel is a little bit darker than on the other end of the skein. I still have some 15 grams of it left, but yeah, really, really nice. I really like them. They're pretty, really happy with them. The pattern was well written. It had charts. I don't think there were written instructions on the pattern, but it's really pretty. And I got a message from the recipient that she had received the socks, because I mailed them some time ago, and yes, they were really pretty. And the second finished object is also something I posted just a couple of days ago, and I'm gonna insert the video in here. Now here is another finished project. They are the Mother's Day socks for my mom. The design is by a Finnish designer, NiinaNknitting, and she had this pattern in her Facebook group. As a cow, she released a section of the pattern each day for, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe. And the last clue was, or the last piece of instructions were released this morning. I actually finished these yesterday. It was just for the toe. The last instructions were for the toe. I did them a tiny bit differently than in her pattern, and I finished them yesterday so that I had time to soak them and block them so that I can get them in the mail for my mom today. So like I said, it's Wednesday, and I'm hoping that she'll get them in the mail on Friday, because in Finland we don't get mail during the weekend. So it's a top-down sock. I used Novita 7 veljestä yarn, which
is what she designed it for. And this is the short version that I did. She had a longer one, like knee-high version. I did the short one. And there was all this lace and cables in the front of the sock, and then some ribbing and a bit of a cable in the back, and then the Eye of Partridge heel with a Dutch heel turn, and yeah, I think that's it. Wedge toe. Oops, the focus is not that well. Okay, the focus is not perfect, but yeah. Now they're done, and I can pop them in the mail for my mom for Mother's Day.
I hadn't weighed the socks for my mom, and when I made the video, but now I know that they weighed 105 grams. So that's my mom's socks. I think I forgot something else too. I can't seem to recollect what it was. Nothing too important, I think. But my third finished object and my third pair of socks is, of course, let's see which way I'm gonna show them to you. This way. They are these Wohin socks. Last time I had made one. It's actually this one. This is the first one I had made, and this is after last episode. I knit the pair. This pattern is by Kawa Coffee, Wohin, as I said, and I used a self-striping main color yarn, and then just some off-white color for the contrasting color. And I have the ball bands in here. So my main color is Regia Perfect, and the colorway is 07111. So 07111. I think it's called cinnamon. And this is the sort of yarn that you start by winding off some yellow, and then you cast on the sock, and you make the stripy section is actually for the leg, but as you can see, I made it using the instructions. So when I made enough repeats for the leg as in the instructions, and in that way I got some stripes in the heel flap also, which is really fun. And then when I turned the heel, it was almost exactly in the right place. So this is just, it's not planned, but I really like it. And then after you turn the heel, you have this one colored yarn for the foot. But of course I did it differently. I really like how it looks. When I posted a picture of one of the socks, the first sock, in somewhere like online, somebody said that it made them think about a giraffe, which is pretty accurate, I think. It's hilarious. Of course, if you're very, very attentive, you may see that I have a flaw in here. You should have a dip stitch in here. But I totally forgot. doesn't matter, but it is a little different in there. And then there's one flaw, and it's sort of the same kind of flaw in the first sock too, because I made the same kind of mistake here in the leg. You should have it's not called, this is a dip stitch, sorry. So yeah, you should have a dip stitch in here, and the one that's missing in here is a tuck stitch, and they're different. They don't look that different on this side, but you can tell the difference from the other side. So this is actually just stripes, main color, and then stripes of the contrasting color. And this is done by just picking up a few stitches from way up and knitting it together with the ones that you're actually knitting. And then in the foot you actually drop stitches from between, drop a few stitches for quite a number of rows. So it's different, and I imagine this holds it better than the one that's in the leg. I don't know, but I imagine that's the reason why this stitch is different. I really, really like these. And I really like how they work in a self-striping yarn, main color. So if you have some, I highly recommend to try something similar. It's really fun, and it's pretty addictive too. So I was knitting the second sock as I was doing my mom's socks, because they were a cal where just a piece of instructions were released each morning. So when I had done that, I continued with these socks, and I'm really, really happy with the result. They're fun, and this is very snug in my foot, and I'm keeping them. I forgot to tell you what this white yarn is, although I have the ball band in here. It is Novita Venla, which is a basic sock yarn, fingering weight 420 meters in 100 grams. Yes, 75% wool, 25% polyamide, as is the fiber content in this perfect yarn too. So they go nicely together, and I'm really, really happy with how the socks turned out. And then for the sewing project that I mentioned to you, I still don't have the name of the book here, but I'll add it in my show notes once I get home where I have the book. So I forgot to check it, but here's the video.
So these are the pants I mentioned last time that I had sewn for my daughter. They've been in the wash. My husband has washed them, but they seem to have these red stains in them. I don't. But yeah, it doesn't matter. They're a pair of pants. They are a little long for my daughter, but that's why I put the elastic band here in the ankles, so that she'll be able to wear them a little bit longer. And then of course these are just some ironed on pictures I had. I'd bought them, I don't even remember when. So she saw the dinosaur and said, oh, I want to have those in my pants. So I was like, right, fine, you can. So yeah, it's a very basic
sweatpant pattern. It's from a book that my sister bought, I guess, when she was sewing for her kids. And the boys are both over 20 years old now. So I'll put the name of the book somewhere on the screen. It's at home at the moment, and I'm not. But yeah, so it's a pair of sweatpants, and what's nice is that there are pockets. Maybe that's where the red stain came from the pockets. I don't know. Anyway, so the pattern has pockets, and I really like it that you have the possibility to put a little bit of something in your pockets. And this fabric, this whatever you call it in English, I don't know. It has a really focus, has a really nice sort of furry what? Come on, where are you? Yeah. So this is very nice and soft. And then you have this just regular sweatshirt fabric on the other side. It's very thick, and that's why I decided to use another fabric for the pockets. It's a lot thinner, also sort of a sweatshirt fabric, but as you can see, totally different. This is a lot thinner, so I thought that it would be nice not to have sort of 4 layers of this fabric where we have the pockets, and besides it looks nice because it's a contrasting color. But yeah, maybe it got the pants stained. I can use some detergent for that next time we get them washed. But yeah, it's a very nice pattern, very easy to sew. As you can see, these I could have made this part a little bit what's the wider, because it's just enough to put the elastic band in, and that's why it's kind of difficult to move the elastic in here. And since I have where it's there, I use this sort of elastic band where you have the buttonholes, so it's easier to shorten it. And I sewed a button in here. It's in here somewhere now. I'm not gonna try and get it out, but yeah, it's pretty big for this. What's it called? Where the button, where the elastic band is, waistband. I don't know if I will. I don't know if it bothers me enough to undo this seam and then do it all over again. We'll see. They've been worn once, and maybe I will correct that, fix it. Maybe I won't. We'll see.
And now let's see the whips. Here's my dog. I told you that I have 2 whips, and we'll start with the one that you've seen a couple times already. So this is Manzo, the cardigan, by Bérangère Caillou. And here it is. I still have my progress keeper in here, and I have a feeling that I had already started this darkest blue last time I recorded, so I must have forgot to move it down. But yeah, I have knit a little bit of the body part, and then I have knit some more of the sleeves. Now for an issue with the sleeves. Um, I'm doing them 2 at a time on magic loop because I wanted to make sure that I may do the decreases in the same places, and that because I know I will run out of this dark blue yarn, I just wanted to make some progress in the sleeves and on the body more or less at the same pace. But my gauge, knitting the sleeves on magic loop 2 at a time is looser than on the body, even though I am using the same Knit Picks, Knit Pro interchangeables. I have one cable on the body and another cable on the sleeves, and the needles are 4.0 millimeters, so that's US size 6. But it's not the same. The gauge is not the same, and I went to my local yarn store, one of them in Jyväskylä, just the other day, and I talked with the shop owner, told her what my problem was, then, and we sort of tried to brainstorm what to do about it. I was thinking that maybe I'll get a 40 centimeter cable needle and do them in the round 1 at a time. She said that I will only be able to use the shorter 40 centimeter cable for a very short amount of time, and then I'll sort of hit the same problem again, because of course sleeves are a lot less of the circumference than 40 centimeters, because that's usually what you use for beanies. But she suggested that I knit them on magic loop 1 sleeve at a time. And she said she tried it herself, and she said that the gauge is more the same doing it 1 at a time. So what I will do is, this is where I was on the sleeves. I know that this is in the right place. So here I was in the sleeves last time. As you can see, I haven't even knit that much after that, maybe 5 centimeters, a little more. But since it is just wrong, what I will do is that I'll rip back some, because I think, well, it's more or less the same, the whole sleeve. And then I'll start doing magic loop 1 at a time. I bought another cable, for these interchangeable, so that I'll have one cable for one sleeve, another cable for the other sleeve, and then a third one for the body. So I'll be mixing and matching with that combo, and I'll report back to you to tell you how it went next time I record. And this time I'm going to move the progress keeper for the body down where I am now, so that next time I'll know that I'm showing you the right amount of progress that I've made. I'm pretty sure I only made some or knit some 5 centimeters, not even that much on the body. So now it's here, and next time I'll show it to you. It'll be there, and I don't know how much of the body I will have knit by then. But did mention the pattern, but I didn't show you this time. I didn't show you the ball band of the yarn. It's very old. The ball band or the skein band or whatever. The etiquette, the tag is almost torn. Pirkkalanka. It's 100% wool, 400 meters on 100 grams. So it's a fingering weight yarn. But there are only 2 plies, I think. I think it's a 2-ply. Yeah, that's what I'm using, and that's what I'll be doing next. So I'll be ripping back some of the sleeves and see how it goes after that. But it's not like I have a deadline for it or anything. I'm quite enjoying knitting it because don't really have to think about much of anything while you knit on this. So it's been nice. And then the resurrection of one web. This is something that I started in April last year, and I knit quite a bit back then, and then I just stopped because it was summer or something. It's my woolen pants. I fixed it. I had a problem with the upper part of the pants because once I was trying them on, it's a drops design pattern. I'll put it on the screen, and it's in my project pages. I made it according to instructions, saying that work stockinette stitch for X amount of centimeters, and then when I tried the pants on, this is the bum side, it was just way too high on the waist. Don't know why, but anyway, it was too big. So what I did when I picked this back up is that I inserted a small needle where I wanted sort of at one part of a stockinette section, and then another small needle above it. Don't even know where I grafted it together. Yes, so I snipped the yarn, and then I unraveled it some at least 10 centimeters from of stockinette, and then I grafted it or kitchenered it back together. But I don't even know where that is. Doesn't even show on the camera. But somewhere in there I have kitchenered. Maybe here. I have no idea. Anyway, because it was too long, I took some of it off, and then I kitchenered it back together, and then of course I used that yarn here in the legs, and I'm pretty sure, well, this is where my legs were before I picked this up again. So I'm pretty sure I'll be doing some decreases next in the legs, and I'm just using some of my old bits and pieces of sock yarn that I've used before, and I'm striping them, like doing the helix knitting, and that's why they're stripy. And these are going to be underpants, so it doesn't matter how crazy the color is, because I don't care. But this is a whip that I have been working on, and I really would like to finish it at some point, because I have my favorite Xiaogu needles, 4.0 millimeters, which is US size 6, here in this project. And since this is a fixed set, you just can't, rip it out or take the needles off. You could, yes, you could put some waste yarn and do it like that, but it's too complicated. So I'm just hoping to finish these pants at one point. And now that I'm gonna be doing some decreases, then of course I'll be making faster progress, because the circumference of each leg will be getting smaller and smaller. Now I have moved my progress keeper too. Yeah, they're thick. This is double fingering weight yarn. And what has been my own thing is adding this, still don't know what it's called, this fold in which I'm gonna put an elastic band once I finish the pants, and that's why I've made a hole in here. So I was doing the ribbing at first, then I was doing it for quite a few rows back and forth, so that I could make this opening for the elastic band, and then I joined it on the round again. And once I got to a certain point, I folded I think I had a provisional cast on here. It's been such a long time that I'm not sure, but perhaps I did, or yeah, it looks like I did. So after I had reached a certain amount of ribbing folded together, I just fastened the provisional cast on here. But yeah, this is an old whip that's made a comeback. And I have one purchase. I haven't been buying a lot of anything, much of anything, during this spring because of the conditions, which is that, well, first of all, I'm not at home. But yes, so we popped in Uvascular, and I needed to buy some yarn, because I showed you my first finished object, the pair of socks that I sent to my niece. Well, her youngest sister has her birthday in June, and I'll be making her a pair of socks too. And I wanted something really nice, some really nice yarn for her. I do have some sock yarn at home, but they're not what I was looking for this girl. She'll be 10 in June. So I went to Neolosi, like I mentioned. I was talking with the shop owner, and this is what I bought. It is magnificent. So it has tons of different colors. Yeah, you can see the stellina in here. This is like, yeah, Lang Yarns, Mil Colori socks and lace locks, superwash yarn, and it is 400 meters in 100 grams, and the content is 73% virgin wool, 25% polyamide, and 2% polyester, which is, I think, the stellina. And oh my goodness, what a colorway! Great. Uh, which of these is the colorway number? 3168, maybe? Oh, come on, Neil. Focus? Yes. Maybe this? Oh, some of these numbers is the colorway number. And this is maybe what it's going to become. I got a Cookie A sock pattern book, a few years ago for my birthday. I think it was Socks with Love or something. It was in Finnish. Or the book has been translated into Finnish, and I have the Finnish version. But when I went home, I don't know where I put it. It is somewhere. I haven't given it to anybody. I haven't even borrowed it or lent it to anybody. Whatever. But well, I didn't have a ton of time because I was just popping in at home and then getting back here. But I did go through my sort of yarn stash shelf kind of thing, and I couldn't find it. It must be there, or then I have put it in a bookshelf and just couldn't see it. Anyway, luckily that's not the only pattern book I have. So I picked another one. I don't have it in here with me. I'll talk about it when I start knitting the socks, but I think I found a really nice pattern to go with this yarn. Can't wait, and I will be casting these on pretty soonish because, you know, she'll be having her birthday in, or her birthday is in June, and it's in 4 or 5 weeks, so I have a lot of other knitting stuff to do also, so maybe I'll get to this. Then there's one book that I bought and I forgot to show you last time, even though I had it with me, in my stuff that I had taken in the forest last time. It was in my bag, but I forgot to talk about it. I will now. It's a book. It's a sewing pattern book that I bought online. Well, it looks like it's mirror image for me, but maybe it's not for you. So, Uuden kaavan mukaan. Pattern book by Sara and Laura Huhta. They are sisters, I think. Must be. I haven't really been reading this. I've only been browsing it. But they're young girls in their maybe 20s, maybe not even 20. And so I bought this book online from Adlibris, which is an online, sort of Finnish online bookshop. It has a lot of other things too, but for example, books. And there wasn't really a lot of info on the contents of the book. I was just searching with like sewing or something like that, and this is what I found. It was with the shipping and packaging fees. It wasn't even 15 euros, maybe 13.90 or something. So it was an inexpensive book, I think, because there are different, quite a few different patterns in here. Let's see if I can. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10 patterns with different versions in many of them. But I'm not 20. So maybe they're not that much my style. The first of them is just just a bag, sort of a tote bag in here. And I might try it just to see what sort of a book it is, how good the explanations are, etc. Um, but they seem to have this, it's sort of the gimmick of their patterns in many of these is that they have these openings of, like in here, you see that the sleeve has an opening in here on the top of the sleeve. And well, first of all, I don't wear blouses very much. You need to iron them very often. It's not my favorite thing. Um, so yeah, there's that. And then the opening thing, it's just not mine. And of course, I could sew it without the opening. But for example, this shirt has this sort of back, and it's not my thing. But there were some of them that were pretty okay, and I think I will sort of test the book. Uh, Maybe I'll find something that I can use, and then probably will try to resell the book after, of course, the situation is over, because I don't think people are buying a lot of second-hand things at the moment. Probably not. But I mean, it's not. They, like I said, there are different versions, different ideas for these patterns. It's not a total waste of a book, and besides, they have these the pieces of the patterns. What are these called? I don't know sewing terms in English, but it looks like it's a good book if the patterns are to your taste. Uh, I just didn't know. I tried it. It was not a maybe total fail, but not a huge success either. But I'll give it a go, see how it goes, and maybe I'll get back to you at some point. Right, then just a little bit of a chit chat before I wrap it up. I'll try to remember to talk about the last video. But yeah, so I mentioned it last time that, yeah, about the corona situation, of course. Finland has not been in total lockdown, but the schools are closed, or were closed on the 17th, or from the 17th of March onwards. And my son has been distance learning, doing distance school for 6 weeks, maybe now. Last, just a while back, our government decided to start going back to, well, not to the way things were, but sort of reopening society. And what we're doing in Finland is reopening the schools. So from next Thursday onwards, there's only like 2.5 weeks of school after next Thursday, but or beginning next Thursday. But yeah, that's what's happening next. So my son will be going to school next week on Thursday. Uh, it still is a little worrying. I know the school rector sent us an email explaining how they're going about it. So in Finland, all children from first grade to ninth grade are starting school next Thursday, unless they have a good reason to stay out of school. But they can't do distance schooling anymore. But yeah, they have the same building has classes or classrooms for high school and for middle school. And high school students continue distance schooling, so there will be available classrooms for the middle school, which is where my son is. Uh, so they'll be able to keep distance and do all kinds of sort of things and wash their hands and all that. But still, it is a little worrying. Still no cure for COVID-19. Still no vaccine either. But yeah, well, let's see and hope how it goes. But then, of course, at the end of May, May 30th is a Saturday. That's their last school day, and on the 1st of June is when summer vacation starts here in Finland. So that's something to look forward to now that I'm getting cold because it's not that warm in here. But yeah, that's what's happening next. My teaching has already ended. I had a course that ended on the 22nd, and my students did their exam then, and I have already evaluated them, and my work is done for this spring. There are a few things that I'm expecting to get, as a couple of students haven't handed out their extra assignments that they did to make up for something, but more or less my work is done for this spring. What I have not been talking about a lot is that I, I have been teaching for quite a few years, as you can see. I have my natural highlights to show that, but I have not finished my master's, and that's what I am trying very hard to do now. So now that I'm not teaching, I'm a part-time teacher. I get paid by the hour or by the lesson. Now my lessons are over, and which means my salary. I'll get my last salary at the end of the month, but that's the end of this year's salary. So that's one of the reasons why I have not been going about crazy buying and doing Corona buying or anything like that, because I know and I knew to expect this. This is how it's been for quite a few years. But yeah, I am trying to finish it this spring or at least this summer, so that next fall I will be master of what's that? Master of arts? I don't even know what the title is. I will have finished my university studies, so it will be a really big relief, but that's not in the pocket yet. So we'll just have to work on. Right. Okay. So that's the situation at the moment. The video that would be at the end of this episode, and that's just some water or waves. I took it at the same time as I took it a few days ago when we were by the lake, and it was a very beautiful sunny day, and so I took some video, and I'm not gonna put any music on that. You'll hear my daughter singing in the background. Nothing that you'll probably recognize, but yeah, it'll be her voice in the background. She's playing in the water. We just, the ice just melted, but yes, she was in the water. Not swimming, but yeah, crazy person. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below or in the Ravelry thread. And I'll see you once the summer vacation starts. Bye.
Puppy love. Puppy love. Oh, napilak.